Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we're digging a little deeper into the Project 78 F150. We're digging into the engine to see if it is going to survive and be a good engine to use. And we're also checking a couple other things, some of which did not turn out to be great news. If you like what you see, definitely hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, give me thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you think. Engaging with you guys is what helps get my videos in front of more eyeballs, which helps grow the channel and helps us be able to do more things. So anyway, I know everybody's asking about the 460. We are getting back on it, should be in the next episode, might even be firing it up. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to get it dynoed. Part of it is I've been dragging my feet, and part of it is we were waiting on a couple other things, which I'll show you here. So, reorganizing the shop all once again, too. So this is what we've been waiting on, a couple things that we really needed to get to finish the engine. This is a piston ring grinder. You'll see what that's going to be for in the upcoming episode. And then also, we got a new air compressor so that we can finish up those guys right there, which have not been doing anything for about 6 months. Anyway, so I got a Husky 60-gallon 230 volt air compressor, which this shop already has 230 volt, which is awesome. Because when I ported the first head, my air compressor is too small for that. So it did not like it, and it took forever. So I got to finish getting this one plumbed up. I'm going to grind that other head, and then they're going off to the machine shop. The short block is coming back apart because I'm going to file fit the piston rings a little wider for things that will come later. So stay tuned for that. I know you guys have been asking about it. Been waiting for some things to fall into place, and I just need to get off my butt and do it. So next episode, 460 content. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, here's the episode. Okay, we're doing some shop cleanup here, so we are going to open up the oil filter from the 400 and the 78 and see what we find in there. Now, they make a special tool to cut open your oil filter to check it for inspection. Don't have one of those. So what I did was I pounded my gasket scraper that has a cap on the end to make a hole, and then took a pair of tin snips and just snipped all the way around. Pain in the butt, but it'll work for what we're doing. Got a clean-ish pan now, so we'll flap this guy open, and there is your filter. That's just the little seal. We don't need that where we're going. And then you can actually, I gotta unsquish this probably a little, but should be able to pull the filter right out of there. Let me get it out and we'll bring you back. Okay, that sucker really did not want to come out of there, but here, let's see what we got. So, I don't really see any metal shavings in the filter media. It just looks like a dirty filter. I mean, you can go full maniac and rip it all the way apart. It looks dirty, but then we'll pour out this oil. There's the spring in the bottom. And the stuff in the bottom is what usually where the nastiest stuff would be. I mean, there's a little bit of grit in there. I mean, I'm gonna say the engine definitely has some wear, but it's not really super concerning. So she probably got some life left in her. We'll do some other tests to kind of check the health of it. Probably a decent, I don't know, 330, 340 horse engine with probably 400 plus pound-feet of torque, 450 maybe. The 400s didn't make a ton of horsepower, but they made good torque. So clean this crap up and dump it, and we'll get on some other tests. some testing on the engine, so we're getting it warmed up, huh boys?
Yeah!
By taking it to the dump. See, we've got a load of old cupboard in the back. Okay, this is take 2 for going to the dump, because yesterday the internet said they were open, but they were not. So we're gonna go get rid of all of this. Yes, Roni has a new rescue bot. We're gonna go get rid of all of this and get the engine warmed up so that we can do a little bit of testing on it and see how healthy it is. Right, Roni?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's head home and do some testing on this engine, huh, Roni?
Yeah.
Should we give it some whoop hows, Roni?
Yeah.
It's going to go fast.
Take it a little.
That's a lot of vibration. I think when the drive shafts are wore out, Roni.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the 78 go fast?
Yeah.
It at least makes a lot of noise, doesn't it?
That's for sure.
Okay, so I'm checking over the engine health now, and I wanted to take a quick look at the steering because it's pretty sloppy and the truck doesn't really like to drive straight. So I don't know if you can see that, but the steering box is moving in relation to the frame. So then I came down here and I see this. Keep wiggling, Bryce. Are ya? Wiggle a little bit harder. I don't know if you can see that, but that's not a grease line. The frame is cracked right there. And the steering box is trying to pull out of it. Also, this track bar bushing over here is worn out. So there's that, but that would be why the truck doesn't like to track straight down the road. That is not good, so I guess we're not driving it anymore until we fix that. Okay, so we're gonna check the state of the motor in the 78. First couple things we're gonna do, the engine's still fairly warm, which you want. So we're going to check base timing and idle speed, and then we're going to adjust the mixture screws on the carburetor, reset the idle speed, and we'll check engine vacuum, and then we'll also check compression. So let's get into that. Okay. So I'll try to get you in there. So I've got timing set at 14 degrees at idle, which is 800-ish. We'll back that down a little bit, but looking at my marks on the balancer, that's what I had marked. There was kind of an old Sharpie mark, so it was a little bit retarded. So I'm wondering if nobody ever adjusted it and maybe the timing chain stretched a bit in the last 60 or 70,000 miles. Okay, so base timing is set at 14 degrees. I lubed up the advance weights and stuff on the distributor because they were just kind of gunked up and sticky, and set the idle at 750, and now I am going to start adjusting the idle mixture screws on the carburetor. So the first thing that we'll do is go ahead and turn them in all the way till they seat. Don't ramrod them in there like a knucklehead. Dang. Can I get any shakier? So we'll turn them. Okay, so that one's seated there. And then we're gonna back it out 2.5 turns. So here's a half, 1.5, 2.5, and we will screw them both back in until we get the highest vacuum reading, and we'll kind of adjust the idle back down as we go. Okay. I'll let it idle for just a second before I get started. We're starting off at about 17 inches of vacuum, and it holds pretty steady, which is a good sign for the health of the engine. I'll rev it up just a little bit and then let it idle and we'll get started. Okay, so we're going to go a quarter turn at a time and just keep track of our count. So there's a quarter. Quarter. And the engine idle should start to come up a little bit as we go. So there's a quarter. Starting to idle up a little bit, smooth out. So we'll keep turning those in, the idle will go up. And then one time when you do a quarter turn, the idle will drop back down a little bit. You go back to that spot, and then back it off another quarter turn, back the other side off a quarter turn if it was ahead of that side. Still going up. Oh, that's hot. I think we're getting close. A little over 17 now. Well, kind of dipped down a little bit right there. So I backed it back off. Okay, so we got almost 18. Okay. Yep. So she dipped down just a little bit when I did that. So I'm backing that one off just a touch. Then I'll back this one off just a touch. Check our idle speed. It got just a touch high, so we'll back it back down just a little bit. Watch out. I can't reach. Ain't all lift pickups. Oh, that's hot. That's pretty good. I think we're good with that. Got almost 18 inches at idle. That should be a pretty healthy motor. Here's another thing I'll show you real quick. Watch the fan down there. So if I whip the throttle open real quick and let off, vacuum should drop almost to zero, and then it should snap back like up into the 20s. Like that. So, other than the horrid exhaust leaks, She seems pretty healthy. Okay, so we are now going to do a compression test while it's still warm. I have my sweet Harbor Freight tester in cylinder number 1. Have the junk the junk pack actually is appropriate. This thing's about on its last legs, so hopefully she'll make it through. Are you ready, Bryce? Okay, gas to the floor and keep it there, okay? And crank. Stop! Ooh, just under 120. She is cranking slow though, but that's not great. Let's check the next one. Go. Stop! Right, so it definitely seems reasonably healthy. Maybe a little bit worn. So by my counts, it has about 70,000 miles on this engine since I built it. You know, back in the day when these trucks were new, at about 100,000 miles, I mean, an engine was worn out just from the carburetors dumping fuel when it's cold. When the choke's on, it just wears the cylinders out, and if they weren't well maintained and the oil wasn't as good. So I think that's pretty good. Definitely with the stuff that was in the oil filter and the compression and whatnot, and the vacuum being, it's down probably an inch or two from where it was when I first built it. So has some wear, but definitely seems perfectly healthy. This is what we had. So here's the front. The only outlier was this one that was 122 or so. They were all about 120, so that might seem kind of low, especially compared to modern stuff, but you got to remember, this engine, stock, which it has stock pistons in it, just rebuilder pistons, so they're stock replacement. It only has about, they rated it at 8-to-1 as far as the specs go, compression, but it's really like 7.5, maybe low 7s, so that's not too worrisome. It also wasn't cranking over very fast, and there's a tech tip. If you have a slow hot crank with one of these trucks or any Fords that have the solenoid, well, this isn't good because it's like twice as long as it needs to be, but the battery that goes from, or the starter cable, the battery cable that goes from the battery to the solenoid, make that a thicker, make like a 4-gauge custom one. She'll crank over a lot faster when it's hot. Anyway, I think that's it for now. I'm started on my list of things I need to repair, and the motor seems pretty healthy, so we will stick with it for now. I'm going to get these spark plugs and stuff thrown back in so I can fire this back up. That is going to do it for this video. Just a quick video checking the engine health of the 400 that I built 20 years ago, so that we can start to make some plans for what's going to happen with this truck. A couple things I'm just going to do real quick to end it off is get rid of these old Eagle spotlights that are not even hooked up and are crusty as. So they are going in the garbage, don't worry. The reason I put them on here instead of some round ones is because I feel like with, oh, that headlight's all full of moisture. I feel like with square, when you have square headlights, you need to have square off-road lights too. So we'll figure something out for a replacement that'll look appropriate but not scongy. Now at least I'll be able to stand on there a little better. Okay, real quick before we end it off, let's get rid of all this. Oh boy, those are crispy. They've been out in the sun for a while. that looks straight.
Left is a little down.
I think it's too late. They're really sticky.